Welcome back to another episode of Jamal's Kitchen, and today we're going to be making oxtail tostadas. I say we because this time I brought in two of my chef friends to help collaborate on a dish, and that's what we came up with, oxtail tostadas. We made this whole meal from scratch, so we went around town, gathered all of our nice fresh ingredients, and then had a little drink and began to cook. So first off, we're going to start doing our knife cuts for the braising liquid for the oxtail, because it's going to take the longest to cook, so you want to get it on right away. It takes about 5 hours to cook from start to finish, and you're going to need it to get really tender before it will fall off the bone. So Arnold here is cutting up some red onions into a large dice for the braising liquid, and I'm peeling about 2 heads of garlic. Next, we're going to take the bottoms and the roots off of one bunch of cilantro because a lot of good flavor is in there. A lot of people tend to throw it out, but that's packed with flavor that'll be really good for the braise. We're just going to add that to the bowl with the garlic and set it aside until we're ready to put it on the stove. Next, we got Alex cutting up some habanero peppers that are also going to the braise to give it a nice heat to it. I'm peeling about 1.5 ounces of ginger with a spoon, which is an easy trick to remove all the skin off of ginger without getting an actual peeler. Then we're going to start peeling and juicing a bunch of citrus. We got about 4 oranges, 3 lemons, and 3 limes. I'm taking the peels off with a peeler because we're going to want big whole pieces in there so they can braise them for a long amount of time and not disintegrate to nothing. And we're also going to be juicing all of them. Grab yourself 1 large tomato that you can dice up. Now that all of our vegetables and our fruits are ready for the braise, we can bring it over to the stove and begin our cooking. If you want to season your oxtail lightly with salt and pepper, you can always add more seasoning later, so it's not a big deal before you start cooking. We also have 1 bottle of red wine, some beef stock, and a can of tomato paste open ready to go. We'll start by heating some olive oil in a large pot on a medium-low heat. Once the oil is hot, we're going to add our onions and the garlic and coriander stems. We're going to cook this a little bit, not trying to get too much color on it, before we add our chopped tomatoes and habaneros to the mix. Once that's cooked down a bit, we're going to add some tomato paste, 1 full can, and let it brown on the bottom of the pan a little bit before we add any liquid to deglaze. Remember all that citrus we juiced earlier? Yeah, it's time to add that to the pot. Pour it in, deglaze it, and scrape off all those yummy brown bits. Let the orange juice, vegetables, tomatoes cook down for a little bit before adding your 1/2 cup of beef stock. Yep, there's the rest of it. Now we're going to add 1/2 bottle of red wine to the pot and let everything come up to temperature before adding any oxtail to it. Oh yeah, more wine. Look at that. We also add 1 liter of water to this pot to bring the liquid up so it can completely submerge the oxtail underneath it. We got some beautiful pieces of oxtail here that we got fresh cut in the morning. Now we're adding it all to our delicious braise, and it's going to cook for about 4 to 5 hours on a medium-low simmer. We're going to throw a couple of dried bay leaves in the pot and all those citrus peels that we did earlier. Let your pot of oxtail come to a simmer before putting a lid on it. We're working on the pickled onions that are going to go on top of the tostada. First, you're going to start by slicing 3 red onions and 1 habanero pepper. Then you're going to put 1/2 cup of salt on top of your onions to help draw out the moisture before you add the vinegar. Let your onions sit for about 20 minutes, then drain off the juice and add white vinegar until it's completely covered. This will be a nice quick pickle in about an hour. Next, we're making our pineapple salsa. So we need tomato, habanero, garlic, red onion, cilantro, lime juice, salt, and pepper. You're going to dice everything small, put it in a bowl, and let them flavors come together. In a cast iron pan, we heat up oil so we can fry off our blue corn tortilla for the tostada. You're going to just throw it in and fry it till it's crispy. Flip it over once, and that's all that is. Now we're making some fresh guacamole, so we're going to cut up 1 habanero pepper. We're going to cut up about 1/2 bunch of cilantro, a piece of garlic, throw it in the mortar and pestle. We're going to begin to grind that up before we add any avocados. Add a little salt to help break down the vegetables. Now it's time to add the avocado. Give that a good mashing. Mix it up until it's a nice creamy consistency, and then season it with a little lime juice and salt. Here we're frying our Mexican cheese in a little bit of cornstarch so it gets golden brown on each side. Flip it and then set it aside. It's been about 4 to 5 hours, so we're able to take off our oxtail now. We're going to strain it and then pull all the meat off the bones. If you make this, you're going to want to pull it while it's hot because it's going to come off the bone a lot easier, but the only problem is it's going to burn your hands while you do it. while you're pulling the meat, put all the braising liquid back on the stove and add 2 cans of coconut milk to it and let it reduce so it becomes nice, smooth, glossy consistency. It should be able to coat the back of a spoon when it's ready. This is what the final product looks like. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna add it back to all of our pulled oxtail to give it some moisture and some great flavor. Give it a little mix, and then we'll be able to start assembling our tostadas. We have some leftover rice that I fried up with some kidney beans and made a little rice and peas. So put that on the plate, lay down 2 blue corn tortillas, put down a piece of our fried cheese. We got a little extra of the crumbled cheese to put on top. Spread guacamole on your tostada. Now we can start adding all of the nice oxtail. A little fresh salsa, pickled onions, cilantro to finish.
It's just fucking spicy. It's good though.
Pineapple hot sauce to go on top.
I just made it myself.
You know, a little dish like this took us fucking.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, I put it on the side for the
Thanks for watching.
Put it on the
See you
side
next
because we're
Monday.
up.
Peace.